Everywhere you turn your head, you turn to the left, people are talking about RTX 3000. You turn your head to the right, people are talking about RTX 3000. Even console fanboys are talking about RTX 3000 right now. That's how much of a buzz this is making. But not many people are talking about RTX 2000, and more specifically getting a RTX 2000 deal, which is what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna head up to Brisbane, where I found a RTX 2080 Ti for 800 Aussie dollars, and in my previous video, I said this was the max I was prepared to pay. So one's come up, I've put in an offer of 800 from 900, and they've accepted. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go get this thing, and then while we're up that way, because it's a little bit of a drive, about a 40-minute drive for me, while we're up that way, I'm gonna check out more RTX 2000 deals on the road. So strap on in, come join us, we'll pick up some used deals. But also in today's video, we'll touch on the rumors of the RTX 3000 supply side issues that could cause people to not get one of these cards, at least in the first couple of months. But let's hit the road first. So we just got that 2080 Ti, and the person was kind enough to actually let us inside their house and show it all up and running and working. So that's always a good thing, to make sure you're confident in buying one of these cards. So 2080 Ti, a Zeus model, it's looking pretty good. But while we're up this way, I'm actually going to jump on good old Gumtree and see if we can also find some more like 2070s, 2080s, and even 2080 Ti's for decent prices. Because if you're going to build a gaming PC in the next couple of months, I mean, if you can pick up one of these 2080 Ti's for a good price, then regardless of RTX 3000, that's still going to be a pretty solid deal. Nothing like a bit of old school, good old Gumtree.
Hi, this is Josh from Cura Community Services.
So they didn't pick up their phone. I just sent them a text message putting down an offer of 500 Aussie dollars for the RTX 2080. Let's just jump on Facebook quickly, see if there's any other deals while we're out on the road. So spending about 10 minutes now, we've gone through good old Facebook and also Gumtree, and we found an RTX 2080, and that's available for, they wanted 650 for it. I offered 500. They've come back at 550. So I'm like, sure, I'll go pick this up, because there is one more factor that we'll talk about later that has come to me in the whole time that I'm hunting these cards. And I just realized that when I picked up this 2080 Ti now. But we'll talk about that soon, because while we go pick up this deal, we've also put out a few feelers there on RTX 2060s and also 2070 Supers. So hopefully they get back to us. Now the 5700 XTs, I've been keeping an eye on them too, but they're going for like 600 Aussie dollars brand new from the stores. And then I'm seeing people on Marketplace and stuff ask more for their 5700 XT. So it looks like at this point in time, there's really only a sell-off happening with used RTX graphics cards, at least where I am in the world. That's on the beautiful Gold Coast, but I'm up in Brisbane, which isn't the beautiful Gold Coast, but it's actually a nice day here. It's pretty good. It's pretty beautiful up here too. So we just finished up picking up that RTX 2080. That checks out A-OK. And the guy ended up actually upgrading to a 2080 Super, and he knows about the RTX 3000 series, so he's just getting rid of it now. The 2070 Super, I put down an offer of 480. They messaged back. They said someone's picking it up for 600. Then there was also a 2060, which they got back to us, and they just said they were holding firm at 430. So we're just gonna head back to the RTX Studio now, and we've already picked up 2 satisfactory deals. Straight away, this RTX 2080 Ti and RTX 2080 that I picked up, they're Aussie pricing. So when you think of the USD pricing, 500 USD, you've got to add 10% on for us guys down under, and that is 550 USD because we pay 10% tax and 770 USD. Automatically, that's how we have to think of the pricing. So when we convert that and we look at the 2080 Ti that I got for 800 Aussie dollars, that's a pretty decent deal. And then the 2080 for 550, I'm happy with those prices. But one thing that we're going to talk about is the RTX 3000 demand. From everyone I'm talking to, the demand is going to be huge for these new graphics cards. So with that unprecedented demand, you're going to see, at least initially, this big wave of orders for the 3080, especially when that comes out. And I think retailers in Australia, there's word on the street that they're going to limit it at one per customer. And then there's this other group that a lot of people aren't talking about, and that is businesses and RTX Studio. A lot of workstations are going to want to get the 3080 and also the 3090 for that HDMI 2.1 and also 8K video editing and stuff like that. So there's going to be not just demand from the gamers for these RTX cards, but there's also going to be demand from the business side. So these two factors together, I feel, is just going to make RTX 3000 demand through the roof. And so supply is pretty much going to be a stable thing, but demand initially is going to be huge. And so with those two things in mind, I feel like the RTX 3000 launch is just going to be a roller coaster. Now, of course, there's the performance figures. And this was the other thing that came to mind when I was picking up this 2080 Ti. And that is, you've noticed that a lot of the benchmarks, pretty much all the benchmarks you're seeing is pretty much only 4K performance at this point in time. And I feel like NVIDIA is doing that because if they show 1080p numbers, there's going to be massive CPU bottlenecks in a lot of the games. But then that relates back to how many people are actually going to be playing at 4K. Even to this date, the majority of gamers are on 1080p and 1440p, and 4K is still kind of a niche, yet we're seeing all these benchmarks for 4K. And so a 2080 Ti is still going to be an absolute king card for people playing at 1080p, 240 Hertz. And then of course, if you're going up to 360 Hertz, you're still gonna need a CPU and memory that's top end to be able to utilize that graphics card. So really, when you think about it, the 3080 and especially the 3090, these are gonna be more 4K gaming cards, which we have to sit back and weigh up the question of, are you going to be gaming at 4K? And so when it all comes down to it, you've got all these factors now that is just piling up to one of the most interesting, if not, I think it's going to be the most interesting launch of any tech product in enthusiast PC gaming in history, where you've just got this massive market of PC gamers. Then you've got all these different resolutions, all these different settings. And so how's it going to play out? That is going to be one thing to wait and see. And so I just feel like all the content that's going to be coming out is going to be really cool. So if you guys have like specific tests that you want to see with RTX 3080 versus 2080 Ti's and 2080s and stuff like that, do let us know in the comment section below. And so 2 years ago, I feel like when RTX 2000 came out, especially the 2080 Ti, it was pushing the boundaries of how much are you actually going to want to spend on a gaming PC. So with this new launch, that question is really going to get revisited big time. It's something that I'm going to be looking at personally. But in the meantime, however, if I'm picking up these RTX 2000 cards under half the price of what they're going for retail here in Australia, I know one thing, I'm getting a good deal, where the maximum gain I saw on RTX 3000 cards, not even factoring in that 10% GST, was around 190% value increase. So I'm weighing it all up, and the deals that I'm getting here, I feel like are right on my safety level. I'm not gonna be losing too much if these cards come out and they perform with that, especially with the 3080 versus the 2080, with that 80% boost. Though in the meantime, between now and the launch of these new GPUs, I really don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that, I guess, in a sense, gives a bit of excitement, does it not? I mean, if you knew what the whole rest of your life was going to be like and it was mapped out, wouldn't that be a little bit boring? And so in ways, I feel like us humans, we, even though we don't like to admit it, we kind of thrive on chaos. And so if there's that uncertain factor, it does make things exciting. And that's exactly what this month, the start of this month, and after that launch announcement, I feel like just things have been so exciting. And so with that, every morning that I wake up, I just can't wait to hit the record camera and just talk about PC tech. Because yeah, that excitement's coming back. Anyhow, if you guys enjoyed today's video, then be sure to hit that like button, and also let us know in the comment section below, what are the big questions on your mind right now? And if there's any really cool things that you guys want us to make a video on, then I'll definitely entertain that for you. Just like this question of the day here, which comes from Kawasaki, and they ask, $500 for a 2080 Ti seems like a good deal, ... until you remember that the RTX 3070 will be faster for the same price. And I feel like this is one of those things where the 3070, I feel, will come in the same league as the 2080 Ti, but will there be big differences in certain areas and certain games where the 2080 Ti could be more beneficial? So that's one of those things I can't wait to see, honestly. And 500 USD for a 2080 Ti, that was my max price that I recommend people paying for at the moment. And of course, at this point in time, I don't recommend anyone pay any more for that, because you are then risking losing money when the 3070 is not far off launch. However, there are some differences in that, of course, the 2080 Ti does have 11 gigabytes of VRAM versus the 8 gigabytes on the 3070, and they are both still GDDR6, despite the 3080 and also the 3090 having GDDR6X. And of course, it remains to be seen, is the 3070's memory, is that being pushed at a higher speed that's not able to be overclocked that much, as opposed to the 2080 Ti's, which you could get a decent sized memory overclock out of. Though I do know one thing, up until this point in time, rumors and speculations have been quite a bit off, as we saw with the live stream announcement from Nvidia themselves, where the day before, people thought the configuration of the cards were much different to what we saw from that live stream announcement. So we have to wait and see, and I hope you guys are excited just as I am. And if you stayed this far and you're enjoying that content, then be sure to hit that sub button, ring that bell, and I'll catch you in the next one soon. And of course, we've got AMD's reply. Everyone's waiting for AMD's response to the RTX 3000, as well as the new consoles. Like, these last few months of this year are going to be shaping up to be some very tech heavy months. So hopefully your tech enthusiast dial is pushing out of the camera frame. I'm out of here. I'm gonna get back to making some more hat hair. Cat hair? Ray traced?